Greetings and salutations, race fans, motorsport lovers, petrol heads, and others. You know who you are. Gary, congratulations. Thank you for putting up with me for 100 episodes. Welcome to the 100th episode of WavedYellow. Big milestone for us. We're not at Piccolino's where we started off. We're not at Mug and Bean where we continued, nor are we at the higher ground. 3 venues that have supported us to various degrees, and a big shout out to Mark Berger at Higher Ground for all his recent support. We are, Gary, in the global headquarters of raceday.tv. WavedYellow comes to you from our brand new studio. Thank you to everybody for putting the effort into it. 2 very special thanks from Gary and I at WavedYellow. Firstly to Ian Pepper at Pepsin Plastics, and secondly, Andrew Horn at Xena Chemicals. Guys, thank you very much for your support, what you did for us, both from a moral point of view and a financial point of view. It means absolutely the world to us. So, what happened this last week?
Your favorite playground?
NASCAR.
Yes.
Kyle Larson. 75 races. He's got unbelievable car control. And in the number 42 that he took over from Juan Pablo Montoya.
Yeah.
He finally won at Dover. My other 2 favorite drivers, Kevin Harvick was 4th, ironically, in the number 4 car, and then Matty De Benedetto was 7th. That was NASCAR. In the global scene, Gary, one of our guests tonight, Jordan Pepper.
Oh, really?
We're going to talk to him a little bit later. I think that we were at the South African Endurance Series, rounds 4, 5 and 6 in Welkom, Pekisa Raceway. It was incredibly hot. But there are a whole lot of stories that came out of it that I thought was really nice. Nick Adcock and Michael Jensen winning the championship, or winning the first race. And not both of them winning the championship, first and second in the championship because their car broke. And Fritz Kleinhans and James Forbes, they shared a drive.
They had a fantastic run.
They won race 6, and I think that we might even have a picture there if Fritz can find it. That's the orange one. Hey, I love the hands up that goes with it. So that 333 car, and we've got it outside the studio. We'll go and have a look at it just now. That thing won 50% of the endurance races. Won 3, and on the podium once, which was absolutely magic.
It's actually the happiest I've ever seen in that picture.
No, Gary, they get seriously happy, and I like the way there's one picture with some champagne. Index of Performance Championship for the year went to Dirty Dog Racing, Dane the Rock Angel and Jared Evans, and I think these kids brought a new life to endurance. They arrived with a lot of energy, a lot of passion. They worked on that Honda, they got it going, and there was the battle between the Honda and the Alfa, and then last race we saw the Volkswagen come along. But I think that guys discovered that endurance racing is not as easy as it seems.
I think it is, that's true.
So second race, also Franco Di Matteo and Romano Sartori came in their Ligier, came in second. And then one of the biggest achievements, and I think that Tony Martin had a huge amount of dust in his eye after the race with a backdraft. Brian Martin, Mike McLaughlin, Trevor Graham came in third.
That's a beautiful red backdraft.
Yeah.
And I think we've got a picture there of it.
And the thing with that is that Tony has said that they will be running that car, 10 of them, making them available to deserving teams. How you become a deserving team, you've got to phone Tony Martin and go through. So they're going to be 10 cars that are identical. Basically, you take the car, you run it, you have some fun with 9 other cars in a separate class within the SA Endurance Series. And then at the end of the year, you can buy it. And Tony, being a car dealer that he is, will give you a good deal, or you just give it back to them. So I think that is absolutely magnificent.
Yeah.
And then the last moment, or the last story from inside the studio, and then we're going to join our guests. And yes, we do have a live audience outside. There's some very, very special people, and we thank them for joining us. So Janelle de Villiers has won Rally Maroc. I think it's absolutely brilliant with his new navigator, Alex Harrow.
I'll take my hat off to Glenn the whole Toyota Gazoo team that put that together. The guys have actually finally got it on the button.
It looked like it was 1, 2, 3 in the stage today, and I don't have the up-to-date results. There's some issues with some of the timing. Suffice to say, Nasser Al Attiyah, the term is they broke a crank sensor. And I've got to be very careful with what I say, because last week I said that Fernando Alonso was entered in maybe driving a slightly different spec. At least we know that Glyn Hall watches WavedYellow.
Why, did he get hold of you?
The next morning I get an SMS or WhatsApp from Glyn. Hi Colin, just watched your show. There are in fact 4 identical cars. They flew 4 cars there. So apologies to the Gazoo racing team. But to break a crank sensor, they don't just sit in vulnerable places.
It sits pretty high up the way that car is built.
Gary, you've got to hit something quite substantial to break a crank sensor. It reminds me, and I'm not saying that it is the same as, but it reminds me cars retiring with alternator problems because the Conrod knocked the alternator off the side of the block. Just a word on Fernando Alonso and Mark Comer.
Yeah.
I think that it is an absolutely unbelievable achievement for them to have got, and they finished 8th on one of the stages, to have got as far as they have.
That's right.
He had some issues, everybody had issues, and one of them was a ditch. And Fritz, if you got that picture of the ditch. Now a ditch, there's ditches and ditches, and when ditches are marked on a road book, the story is that the stage was cancelled because there was an error in the GPS.
Yeah.
That was the official thing. But it also coincided with the first experiment that the organizers have done with giving a road book out to the competitors 5 minutes before the start of a stage.
Colin, just before you go on, those of you that are watching there, you can see this ditch. Now we have a second picture of this ditch with somebody standing in it. Now, to give you some idea how deep that ditch is. So what actually happened was 2 of them went through there. It was Fernando and Ten Brink. They hit this ditch, and that only marking they had was that yellow tape.
No, Gary, that tape is put there to say that it is closed.
Okay.
The ditch apparently wasn't marked on the road book, and they arrived at serious speed. Martin Prokop destroyed his F-150, and sadly the navigator was injured, but he seems to be okay.
Yeah, I think we've got a photograph
just
of that car.
to go on the experiment of the road book. In the past, road books have been given out in the evening, and it is said, some say, sources tell us, that the waypoints are then sent back to the factory where there are legions of French and German engineers, some say, it is alleged, that then go and plot via all sorts of serious mapping bits, plot the ideal route, and then sometime before the start hand a package of notes to the co-driver so that they've now got the ideal route in it. This 5 minutes before, issuing the road book 5 minutes before the thing was meant to, the start of each competitor, was meant to make it a little bit more fairer and more
Equal,
even.
sort of, yeah.
We don't know what happened, but it is a magnificent race. But, Gary,
Yeah.
time to leave here.
Just before we
and
go out.
time to go outside.
Just before we go outside. Mark Berger, good luck, you guys, with the new venue. Thank you very much. Stree White, all the way from Bloemfontein, who's preparing to go for the F
I
Formula
think
4.
right now it's all the way from OR Tambo that they're ready to
That is
fly
good.
out to
Yeah.
the last Formula 4 race.
Hello guys, enjoy the evening. Congratulations on the show. And it goes on and goes on. Guys, if you have comments, please don't feel free. Post them in the comments. Colin and I will read them out. If you've got questions, we'll answer the questions. And I think this is the time when we
I
go.
want to get out of here. I want to go and talk to the people
Off you
outside
go.
there.
Go and grab that mic.
Gary, we're
I'll
going to
join
do
you
that.
shortly.
Is there that dust in your arm, my boy?
Yeah.
And we're back. Is sound working? Jordan, welcome. Thank you very much for taking time out to join us. It's damn fantastic that you're here. Apparently, we have to stand on our marks because production and technical spent the whole afternoon
Working
rigging.
it out, yeah.
When did you get back to South Africa?
I arrived back last Thursday. decided to take a nice weekend break with my dad, my sister. Went down to obviously watch some more racing. Went to the National Enduro to support the boys there. And yeah, it's just cool to be back home. Obviously, every year we try to get out as quick as we can because Europe gets super miserable, super rainy. So the plus side is we're obviously ending the season at home in South Africa, so it gives you a little bit of an extended break, should I say.
And you fresh off a podium in Spain, and that must have been really, really special to put the 107 on the podium in Spain.
Yeah, to be honest, we've had one of those seasons worse than a roller coaster. We started off in Bathurst, obviously with the IGCC Championship, looking good, ended up kind of with no result. Then when we moved on to the European season, it got a steady start, should have finished on the podium in Silverstone, and then strategy kind of played our way out. Then we obviously took the win in Paul Ricard, which put us right in the championship fight. Spa was a bit tricky, so we dropped back down, but it was good to show what the Bentley's capable of. Obviously, we've been working really hard this year, me, Jules, and Stephen in the 107. And it was a bit of luck. We've got to thank Dries van Toe and the Audi who took out the Merc in the last lap to give us the place. But yeah, you always take podiums and champagnes when you can. And
any way they come.
Every time you get on the podium, it's actually something Calv told me, that you got to celebrate every podium like your last. So trust me, I had a good night on Sunday night in Barcelona celebrating.
We saw the pictures. What is it that the work that you guys have done on the Bentley that it seems to have a bucket load of downforce and with good grunt?
You know, the old Bentley was basically just a pure rocket ship in a straight line. Good aero, but it was quite a rocket ship in a straight line. Handling in the slow speed wasn't really that good. New car, the way the regulations work, obviously with the balance of performance, where they balance with power and weight, they went for a complete new concept. Obviously, a new chassis designed to distribute the weight 50-50. So the chassis itself is really good, but it's kind of too good at the moment, and we're really slippery aero-wise. So like Spa, for example, when it gets to greasy, rainy conditions, because we're the heaviest car on the grid, we tend to struggle. But normally it's quite good. I don't think we're as good in top speed anymore. They try to get all the cars to be in a similar range. And yeah, I would say the car is, although it looks still like the old car, the big ship, but it's really a good handling car, good dynamics. Aero-wise, is probably one of the best in the field, which is kind of its strength and what we play on. So yeah, it should be good.
It reminds me of the size of that car. Reminds me of some of the memes with the BMW being as big as it is. But your car is big. What's been the absolute so far? You've got one race left.
Yeah.
We're going to get to that one race left now. What's been the highlight of your year so far?
I would say definitely the win in Paul Ricard. It's one of those races where everything clicks together. The track obviously suits us, it's a high grip track, and where we're really good on the Bentleys, we're super good on tyre degradation. So we were just doing the stint. As the fuel was burning out, we were just staying on the same lap times. And it was super cool. Like, we qualified on pole in the morning, the first pole of the new car in Blancpain, which was really special, and the first pole of the team, which was really cool.
You've had a lot of firsts with that car. First pole, first win, first podium in the championship. Or fourth in the championship, eh?
Yeah, we ended up, unfortunately, 1 point behind. But yeah, like we said, it's Paul Ricard. Like, it was definitely the biggest highlight. Leading from the front, I had to get past Mauro Engel because he jumped me at the start. And then was probably one of the best stints in my life. Pulled away up to quite a massive gap, which was cool. But it's always good when you stand on the top step of the podium nowadays in GD3 racing with the best GD drivers in the world. You've definitely worked for it. Maybe the BOP's sometimes on your side, maybe it's not, but it's those moments you capitalize on the good potential is when it's all worthwhile.
And you need three drivers who are on top of their game and the team to deliver slick, quick, penalty-free pit stops.
Yeah, that's always the trick, because obviously it's on track, you're fighting for those single tenths, but in the pits it's something that I think everyone's going to get a massive shock here. There's guys you think doing mega pit stops here, but when the boys are running around the car, changing four wheels, putting fuel in, and you in and out in 20 seconds or a little bit more, I think O's are going to get a proper shock to see what the boys do at home to prepare and stuff like that. So it's a big team effort. That's the thing with endurance racing. Like you say, three drivers have to be on the top level of their game, and We're getting a bit of a move on, yeah.
You're not standing on our stripe.
But yeah, you got to 3 guys who have got to be on the top level of the game. All the factory drivers around the world now are so good, within a few tenths of each other, and that makes the difference. But in the pits, like you say, it's where you can kind of win and lose the race. All the penalties are handed out there.
You mentioned the South African guys in terms of pit stops, which brings us neatly to the 9-hour end of November. You must be super excited and possibly a little bit nervous coming back to South Africa as now a superstar in GT3 racing to deliver the goods for Bentley in South Africa.
Hey, to be honest, when I left the country, I was just a little kid in Polo Cup. Obviously, a lot of people know me because of my dad then. I was Ian Pepper's son, and hopefully things are starting to change, that they know me for who we are, and I'm sure we're making a name and we're trying really hard to fly the flag overseas, and it's super cool 5 years later to return also with Calvin and Sheldon, who I share an apartment with. We're the only 3 factory drivers out of South Africa in the last I don't know how many years, until back in the 90s with the old super touring car days and all that. So it's super cool to come back with our efforts, and we've come a long way, and it's all those people that supported us along their way that made the difference. You know, if it wasn't for everyone who was behind us back in the day of karting in Polo Cup, giving us the opportunities, like a couple guys who helped sponsor to go overseas to go try it out, and we had a plan and we've made that plan execute, and I can only say we're living a dream, and it's cool to kind of come back and share that dream with everyone and just show where international motorsport is right now. And I think everyone's going to have a shock, but hopefully a cool shock, and really just enjoy and embrace the race.
I think just in terms of the shock, there's also going to be a massive shock with what a modern GT3 car is like, and to see 30 GT3s with, you mentioned, world-class drivers. Eyes are going to be opened.
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, the level of drivers is the best in the world. This championship has grown in tremendous fashion from when it started 2 years ago to now, and every single IGTC race that we've been to, it's nose-to-tail racing for as long as the race is. 12 hours of Bathurst, 8 hours Laguna Seca, Spa, 24-hour race was nose-to-tail, won by a couple seconds at the end. Suzuka, okay, Calvin kicked all our asses there. But, yeah, exactly. It was still the first hour, for example, in Suzuka.
I'm watching the stripe because production will come out here and kick our asses with the stripe. Gary, you got a question?
Yeah, Jordan, that question. You spent most of the year racing with the same co-drivers and that sort of stuff. Going into the new 9-hour, according to the entry list, you might have different drivers joining you. What's it like as a driver when you have different guys joining you at the last race of the season?
I think that's probably one of Bentley's strengths over the other guys. We tend to always stay the same guys because we only do factory races in Blancpain Endurance and Intercontinental. Where Audi, for example, if you look at Calvin and them, they do their customer racing support, which is really good, where they do a lot of races, but then they come back to IGTC events with sometimes new teammates. But the strategy behind it is Bentley, obviously we're not in fighting for the championship, so we have the opportunity to change things up and focus on next year. Obviously we wanted to make a big thing of Bentley 100 years this year, but it didn't quite go that way, so we're looking to see what we can do. It's not definite that's going to stay on for the rest of for next year and so on, but it's a good tryout, and Max Soulé is a super good driver, joining me and Jules, who both young, work together really well, and hopefully the 3 of us can keep the results flowing and get the win at the end of the 9-hour.
The guys online have got their answer. Thank you very much.
Maybe Ian will finally be Jordan's dad and Tasman's dad in the different circles. And you spoke about the three of you sharing the flat in Germany. And we know it's in Germany because you all say super. And everything is super cool and super fast, and this German weather is super cock. And so but you've got a Bentley, you've got a BMW, and you've got an Audi factory driver. How does that go down with the teams, even though you guys are, personally, you're good mates, but how do the teams like it?
I think obviously everyone knows about it, and for sure, I think it's a strength that we play on between the 3 of us, because you can always learn from what goes on. We tend to not just pitch up and race. For sure, we try to it, but there's a bit more effort behind it. And when we're back home, obviously we share on boards, look at each other. It's a secret I'm sharing with you guys because it's
well, it'll just stay here.
Yeah, what stays on the floor should what I say should stay here. But yeah, it's something cool, and it's cool that we can train together. We're just kind of growing up together. You know, me and Calvin moved over at age of 17, and it's something we've really enjoyed and a challenge we've taken on. And Sheldon joined us a couple of years ago, so it's cool that the three of us are now not in the same brand, and we kind of can learn from each other. And it's just nice to see that all three of us are making our own history within our own brand, which is something nice.
Just remind us how old you guys are, because I think the average age in that flat must be 21.
Yeah, so Calvin is same age as me. We're both 23, and then Charles this year left from being a teenager to being ripe age of 20. So the funny thing is the young one's kicking our ass completely. DTM, BMW superstar. So yeah, we need to pull up our socks, but it's cool to see, you know, that kid's super talented and what he's done and achieved is super awesome, and same with Calvin. So it's cool that the three of us have gone from being the two 13-year-olds and 10-year-old in karting when we were teammates back then, and then moved into Polo Cup with the dream. We said back then, one of us is going to DTM and we're going to be professional racing drivers.
And it was the little one.
Unfortunately, it was. He beat us to it. But yeah, it's cool. We're making our own paths. Me and Calvin in endurance racing. Charles is obviously doing select few races, and him in DTM it's super cool to see, and it's super cool to support.
It's going to be absolutely magnificent to see the three of you at Kyalami, and with David Perrell coming out.
We can't miss those guys, because David's done also a really good job. He took, at the age of 30, he went overseas, and he's found himself. There's two kind of ways to making money in professional motorsport right now. Either being a factory driver, which is everyone's dream, and we're lucky enough to achieve that and live the dream. Or what David's doing is he's turned himself into a professional coach, and he takes a lot of gentlemen along and he races with them. For sure he's not fighting for overall honours, and I think it's something that Gennaro is obviously working his way towards. I'm sure he's got a big shock, but a good shock to see what the level of professional drivers is overseas. He did spar with us, did an awesome job. Barcelona wasn't maybe as good as he hoped, but I told him it's not going to be always easy. At least now we're in his home backyard. He knows Kyalami, we don't, so hopefully he can teach us a few tricks. But I think the boys are always going to be on it. 5-6 laps, all these pros are going to be at their best.
When you say these pros, you one of them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm classing us as one of the drivers, and
isn't that sometimes a bit surreal?
Yeah,
where you think
a couple times.
You are a Bentley boy, a lead driver in 107. Unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. Like I watched Bathurst I think it was the first Bathurst I watched. It was 2014, 2015 or something like that. And I was like, shit, the Bentley team, those guys are complete legends, you know. Now I'm teammates with the guys, and super cool camaraderie, and it's nice to be building my profile as one of the top GT drivers in the world, and hopefully I can keep this career going for many years. That's the dream. Each year we've got to keep chipping away, keep performing, keep trying to improve ourselves. And like you said, what's good about living with the other two boys is that's where I think we push each other along to new levels, and hopefully we keep it going.
Awesome. Jordan, we've got limited time here. There are a whole lot of guests, and this is almost going to be the Pepper family interview. Step 2 of the Peppers. Jordan, thank you very much for joining us. All the best for all the rest of the year.
At the race. So yeah, everyone has to support and fly the SA flag high.
Yeah, we will.
Thank you very much.
No
Look off.
Right, leave you here.
If you're wondering about the noise out here, am I supposed to walk over there? The voices in my ear are telling me. You're wondering about the noise. Hold on, let's do a whole Pepper thing. Here's another Pepper. Ian, thank you very much for your support. Really appreciate it.
Colin, you guys are doing a great job. 100th show. You've given my kids a bit of exposure through the year. We really appreciate what you guys are doing, and yeah, it's good for motorsport.
Lovely. Thanks for those kind words. And we can't get the father.
To Cheryl and Morgan watching this at home, and then Jordan's girlfriend Esme in England, you Pommy, we'll see you in a week's time.
Lovely. And we can't get the father to talk so much. But the other, his father, but he's the father. They breed them fast in the Funnelander household. Sean, thanks a lot for joining us. You've got to be super proud of your boys.
Thank you, Colin. Tonight's about you guys. Forget about my sons.
No, it's you guys.
You guys really deserve a huge applause from the whole motorsport fraternity. Thank you very much for what you guys have done for motorsport. Can I nominate you for MSA president?
No, because then you got to fight with karting dads who are bitching and moaning. But no, we're not allowed to go there. Sean?
I just want to say, really, to you and to Gary, really, you guys have been awesome. Thank you very much.
And I want to say to you and Bernadette, thank you very much for breeding such fast kids. Right, on that note, talking about fast kids, we were talking a little bit, Taz.
Hello.
Welcome, thank you very much. There's a stripe. We have to stand on the stripe. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, W Series.
Yes.
International, 10th overall in a championship. Who would have thought, beginning of this year, you were a Polo Cup driver. Now you're looking at you've got a job for next year.
Yeah, so because I finished 10th in the championship, I get an automatic return into next year, so I'm really excited about that. This year was actually really tough and really challenging, but I learned a lot throughout the year, and obviously racing with those girls who have been doing it for so long, they taught me a lot, and I'm just excited to get back there again.
And there's your car. It is so cool. What was your favorite? Each race you changed colors. What is your favorite color car?
I like the pink car. Sort of went with my helmet, but I did actually quite fancy this purple car as well.
A big learning curve. You've driven single-seaters before, but in a world far away. What was the big thing for you? What is the biggest learning moment for you?
Well, getting from the front-wheel drive Polo that I've been doing for the last 6 years, getting back into a single-seater. The biggest thing was not just the rear-wheel drive, but learning to trust the downforce of the car. So that was where I struggled the most throughout the season. Not in the flat-out fast stuff, because it was flat, you knew it was flat, but more medium to high-speed stuff where you had to brake a little bit and then just enter as fast as you could. So I was actually just over-slowing down the car a little bit too much, and just getting your mind around that and being able to trust the downforce of the car into the corner. That was where I needed to get my bearings a little bit, and yeah, it got better throughout the season, but obviously next year there's still some more work to get done.
But almost in a confusing moment, you went from the W Series and Volkswagen took you to India.
Yes.
And you drilled them in India in their version of a Polo.
Yeah, well, front-wheel drive is like where I'm most comfortable at since I've been doing it for so long. Single-seaters was a really long time ago, and so to get my bearings in that again and to adjust to that was quite challenging, and I still haven't come to grips with it just yet. So I'm looking forward to getting back in the car next year. We're going to try and do some testing before we get into the racing season, just to try and get onto where we ended off, Obviously, we don't have anything like that here in South Africa for me to test, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I think getting back into the front-wheel drive in India was a lot of fun, and there was no pressure on me as well, so I could just go out and enjoy it and enjoy the track, and everyone was just so amazing there. And then I raced Killarney last weekend, but that was as good as I expected it to be. But yeah.
There's always that risk when you come back to South Africa and you put yourself into a car that you've done well in the past, and everybody, oh, well, look, she went to W Series and I beat her, therefore. In a lot of ways, how easy is it to put that kind of crap behind you and out of your mind?
We had struggles with the car the entire weekend, and we just couldn't find the issue. So I didn't want to pull out in the middle of the weekend when I knew I wasn't going to be able to compete with the guys in the front. So I had a good dice with the guys in the mid pack, and we had a really fun race. But obviously, you can't look at it going, okay, yeah, I've been overseas and I've come back and I'm worse off, because it's not it's not actually what happened. We tried and we drove a car that I hadn't even tested. So it was. I was putting myself in a sticky situation, but I enjoyed the weekend thoroughly, and that's what it's about. And getting to race with the guys back in South Africa is always fun. But yeah, we won't. It's not something that I take back as being like a negative thing. I had a good time, and
that's actually what it's about: is having a good time, having a blast. they moan when we move off the stripe. Come on, guys, give me some movement here. It's not how it rolls. If you want me to stand still, you got to put me on a chair. Yeah, you stand straight and get your alignment right. And oh my God, next year, the selections are on now for the rest of your competitors. Is there somebody who's in that pack that you think is, boom, there's a new Formula One person?
They obviously, a lot of the girls who are at the back, that finished at the back of the championship aren't necessarily where they should be. They were quite competitive in some rounds, and some rounds they just got unlucky and had crashes. This is racing, so these things happen. I really want to see Esme back there because she showed a lot of potential at Brands Hatch. She qualified third, and throughout the season she was really quick. So I'd like to see her back, and obviously I wouldn't mind seeing Naomi back again because we like friendly faces, and it's always better to get in for a second season to show that you have the capabilities and just being given those chances.
One of the things that you were worried about was your fitness going into the season, but you surprised some people and you got fitter through the year. So this break is not going to be, you're going to work hard in terms of your fitness?
Yeah, I mean, I actually surprised myself. The first time I got in the F3 car, I couldn't do more than 3 laps, and we had to complete races for 30 minutes. So the first race, I felt good inside the car for that full 30-minute duration. And I haven't stopped training since I've been back home. So we have to... W Series keeps us on point the whole time. They're always monitoring us. We have our fitness coaches as well that keep an eye on what we're doing. So I can't rest basically. So going into next season, I'm hoping to be a little bit stronger, a little bit fitter, and just be able to give it that little bit extra.
Awesome. Well, when is the first race?
We're not sure yet. The calendar for us hasn't been released. DTM has been, but we're not sure yet how many races we're doing, and also we're not sure who the balance of the drivers are, so we're waiting for that. We've got our prize giving at the end of November, and I'm sure we'll find out everything then.
Tasman, you've given us... I was a skeptic about W Series. I'm sorry. I apologize. I believe in W Series now. I've seen what it's done. It's highlighted I think the overall promise of highlighting drivers to go on in other careers, I think is magnificent. And from WavedYellow and RaceDay.tv, we wish you all the success. We really are rooting for you, and have fun and do a great job.
Thanks for all your support and everything you do for local motorsport. And yeah, just keep watching, keep supporting, and hopefully next year I can do a little bit better.
Now you will.
Yeah, thank you.
Year 2's always better.
Yeah.
And never stop smiling.
Yeah, no, I won't. Don't worry. Thank you.
Tasman, thank you very much for your support.
Yeah.
I've got a surprise guest for you.
Yeah, who's a surprise? Chris Kutzer. On the stripe. Chris Kutzer, representing Rally South Africa here. Thank you very much for joining us. Last time we saw you, you'd just been to a Braafvleis.
Yeah.
Is it too soon to mention that?
No, not really. I'm still a bit in shock, but it's one of those things. In the meantime, we've moved on from that. For those people that don't know, we lost a one-of-a-kind rally car to a fire. We've decided to build another one, by the way.
A Mazda 3.
No, again, a Mazda 2.
Was it a 2 or 3? I can never tell them apart.
Well, yeah, but silly names, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It almost sounds like the new classes in world rallying. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Exactly. But yeah, we decided to build another one, and I can report that we got the body shell into our workshop just today, so it's happening.
Congratulations. That's really, really awesome. Awesome to know. And there's one more event in the SA Championship, and it looks like it's Meyerton area. So that's kind of nice and close for Joburg people.
Absolutely, and there's a new sponsor, which obviously we're not able to mention yet, but I think it's going to be something different. There'll be something for everyone to look forward to. And for those people that don't know, there's still a big fight going on for second and third in the championship, and we'd like to still be involved in that, obviously. So we want to borrow or beg a car from someone that not scared to let myself and Greg loosen it for the rally. And we've already had an offer or two. So if the rally happens, we'll definitely be there.
Awesome. So now what we need to do is persuade certain very recently retired drivers to, you know who you are. Jy moet terugkom. Gaan haal daai toys wat jy oral gegooi het. He threw all his toys out the cart. Okay, maybe it might be touchy because they're bigger than me and they might murder me when I get there. But go pick your toys up, dust it off, and fit a new bumper and come and race. Chris, so the R4 car that you built, that Hyundai, that's gone to Zambia, I believe?
That's right. So we've sold the car to one of the Zambian competitors. I don't know whether he'd like his name mentioned at this time. But the deal is that before he takes delivery of the car, we're first taking it to England to the Autosport show in January, to the exhibition there to show off, I think. I try to show off, but to just an awareness.
Showcase it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for our business, yes, but also for R4 in general, because the formula needs a lot of marketing worldwide in order to really get the sales going. And we hope that will prove that it is a viable thing.
But let's not forget, you know, we talk about Hall Speed because they're the probably the highest, highest profile so race car manufacturer in South Africa. But you guys at Rally Technique are genuine FIA recognized race car fabricators and manufacturers as well.
Yes, it's been a bit of a hard road. We're about probably 6 months behind our original planning, but I think we've put a good product out there so far, and we've got some appreciation already from abroad, and there's one or two companies that are interested in buying cars from us. So I think people want to see the car in the flesh, and that's why we're going to Birmingham so people can see it, touch it, and see that it's really world-class quality, because we don't want to sell cars cheaply. We just want to sell cars at the same price as abroad, but at a better quality. And I think we really can do that in South Africa.
I know you can. I've seen the quality of that car. It's absolutely fantastic. Chris, I wish you all the luck in the world. Build the fast cars, and we really look forward to seeing that rally. And the good news is, it looks like it's a Saturday-Sunday rally.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And that's for various reasons. One of them being that we're going to have 2 rallies on the day. On the weekend for the Northern Regions Championship as well, to try and save those guys some money. They can have 2 rallies in one weekend. And by the way, also follow NRC for 2020. There's some really exciting announcements coming, and rallying certainly going to grow. And it's one of the most exciting forms of motorsport, as you know. And
I've got the gears for rallying again.
Great, thanks, Colin. And we know you guys are going to be involved in it, and it's going to be fantastic. Thank you very much for what you're doing, and congratulations with what you've got here tonight.
Thanks a lot, Chris, and good luck for get him a car. Let's find Chris a car.
No, thank you, guys. Cheers.
Chris, thank you very much. Colin.
I want to talk to him. Him. That oak. I'll tell you why I want to talk to him.
When we finish with cars, just suggest we got some awesome cars here. I think you should take a walk through and just show the public out there what cars have come to support us tonight.
Gary, that's a great idea. Now, Kyle, you see the stripe? Yeah, apparently we've got to line up and there's an exam because production gets a murin when we walk.
All right. Gary, how are you, young man?
Well, thank you.
Congratulations
nice
first off on your 100th episode in your new studio. It looks amazing. Thank you for the tour. It was very pretty.
Thank you for bringing your car, the Bell & Ross. Neisner surprise for me. But Kyle Mitchell, it wasn't a surprise for you because people may have forgotten about your overseas experience.
Well, yeah, I don't think it was a surprise. It was for me a little bit. I mean, we were planning to improve, on the year before where we made top 8, and we just said, well, let's just improve. We've got a road car. I mean, it's fully licensed for the road. We use it every day. I use it on Sundays for breakfast runs. I wake up the neighborhood on a Sunday morning. So we just knew we're not competing for the top spot. We're not going to get King of the Hill, and let's just go have fun. And to finish second in our class, right behind Franco, with that dragon of his that no one can keep up with.
It's the Kraken. Officially, that's my name, and the Kraken, that mythical monster of the sea that is huge and frightening. That is the Kraken. But we also know where you go on somewhere out in the desert on the first Thursday with the GTR and Z Club of Nissan. That 200-meter drags, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think Nissan do a great job looking after their clients. I mean, the backup support, all the events they put together with Motul and Nissan and O2 Club, especially Jonas and them, it's exciting to go to. It gives you a little bit of passion to use your car for what it's meant for. You know, obviously I can't race it on every track all the time. It's just too expensive to maintain a road car. So yes, first Thursday of every month, we're dragging down 200 meters on the Rhino Park runway, just GTRs and Z Clubs, list racing, you know.
Apparently, I'm still number 21 on the list in Jonas's car. Jonas, we need to talk to Basil. And I didn't know the guys when I get there, and they say, I drew Baz. And Baz appeared to be this friendly teddy bear. And he says, no, his car's relatively standard. Ha!
Yeah, no, listen, when you talk to Uncle Bazzy, nothing that comes out of NX Gen is standard, I promise you. So, no, Basil's a gentleman, you know, he's a good friend of ours, he's a good family friend of mine now.
But what a lovely, outgoing, I felt so welcome. Baz, thank you so much for the welcome. And then they put me in a passenger seat in that thing that in 200 meters, 196 k's an hour, unbelievable.
Yeah, no, I mean, Baz, I mean, for NX Gen, I mean, for someone that controls the market of tuning GTRs and R35s, to be so humble, you know, we talk about it every day, you know, R35s, they have their name for breaking down every now and then. You put so much power in them, they do break.
His cars don't break.
No, not at all. But yeah, and that you phone him on a Sunday morning and say, Baz, I need help. He's the first guy to arrive. You know, Ed's car broke the other night. He's the first guy to say, bring it to the shop. We'll help you. We'll fix it. And you don't get that anymore, you know. So, you know, good for him. And it's always appreciated by us clients that spend money with him to look after us like they do.
What's your next event, Carl?
Well, we're doing the Emerald Speed Festival. That's been moved. Obviously, we're doing that. We'll do the hill climb again next year. We're going to add a few things. No more power, obviously, to the car. Otherwise, it becomes impossible to drive on the road. A bit more aero, etc., etc. And then we're talking about taking it overseas to do some world time attack in Australia. They've got a special category for cars like mine that's road legal, still weight limited, still standard in terms of road car. So that's exciting. Meant to do the 9 hour. Unfortunately, that didn't pay off. The car that we were going to enter just didn't work out, so can't do that. And then a possibility on R8 Cup in Europe. So that's exciting for me, you know. So let's see what happens.
Awesome stuff, Carl. Thanks a lot for talking to us, and really appreciate you bringing that monster. And Patrick, can we go and have a look at that car, because it's proper frickin' special.
Thank you very much, and congratulations again, and a wonderful job you guys do. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thanks a lot, Carl. Patrick, come with us. Come, because very, very quickly, Gary, the time's running out. I'm getting thirsty. Check these guys. There's Tucker. Davy is back. Davy Olivier, he's back. So here's Carl's car. And what is cool about the car, there's carbon fiber for days. It is magic fast. Love this thing. Gary, this thing, I'm hoping that the lighting can get to it. It's a Protea, South African built car that actually predated or preceded it's beautiful. This is an aluminium body. It preceded the Dart and Flamingo by months. And we've got a replica of Lotus Cortina that Jackie Stewart drove. My favorite car growing up, I joined the army, signed up to get 5,000 Rand because I was going to buy a Lotus 69, but it didn't come to pass. Then, past all the pretty people, we've got this. We were speaking about the 333. This is the car that won 50% of the SA Endurance Championship this year. It's fresh from Welkom. I love it. The guys, they brought it out. Thank you very much to the guys and Fritz and James for bringing it out. Then we've got, and this one here. This is the car that won the Chevron B19 from Franco Scribanti. This thing won the Friday historic thing of going up the hill at Samola. It's eye-watering. I love it. I get like goosies. I'm like a little boy with a new toy when I see this car. So many memories that come out of it. There's motorbikes over here, and then past the shortest, smiliest, James Forbes. Thanks for joining us. And then a Mustang. Absolutely fantastic Mustang. And the guy that I've been looking for, Mr. Tony Mott. Tony, you've got to please come and talk to us. We've got stuff. Tony, come with us. Get a beer. Get a beer and please come to the front there.
A traffic jam for 4 hours, that's why I'm like.
Oh, you Durban boys don't know. Tony Martin, that's it, Gary. Will you look after Tony? And we've got bikes here as well. Will you get Tony a beer and then we'll come back here? So there's bikes, there's all sorts of things. And check these things here. Suomi crash helmets. Where's the one that I saw earlier? Oh, have a look at that. I need to invoke the hands-free. Because on this side, when you're coming, it looks like that. And when you're going, no, it's not that one. There's one that is different left and right. Here you go. So when you come, just check this helmet. You go this way, and it looks like that. And then you turn around, and you come back, and it looks like that. Absolutely awesome. Suomi helmet. Really, really like that. Right, so let's go and have another walk. Back to the wall. Sasha Martinengo.
Hello, Cole.
How are you, my boy?
Listen, congratulations to you guys on an outstanding 100 episodes.
Thank you very much.
And also for this evening and so many wonderful people, motorsport people. It's just incredible, I think, what iLab and then, of course, now Race Day is doing and you guys have done is just phenomenal. The amount of support that we have around is just amazing, Colin. Well done to you guys, eh?
Thank you for those kind words, Sash.
It's an absolute pleasure. I'm so privileged to be here, and
you'll be back inside there tomorrow night.
Yes, we'll be there tomorrow for the pit box, Gary and myself.
Don't forget to watch that pit box. What time you go out? 7 o'clock, eh?
7 o'clock, of course, the world of Formula One. But you know what? Tell everybody, get onto Race Day, get onto Facebook. Anything you want to do when it comes to motorsport, this is the channel to be on.
Right. The challenge to you is get us all Sergio Tacchini clothing. My man Tony Martin, Daytona 24-hour winner, still the fastest man around East London, I believe, in Formula 2 Maura. Port Elizabeth, East London, I can never tell the difference. How do you tell the difference, Tony?
I'm not sure.
Tony, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a long year with the backdrafts and in endurance racing. And you overall podium with the red car this last weekend in that brutal hot race in Welkom. That must have been one of your highlights of the year.
It was very nice for us, you know. The boys have been working hard this year. We've been doing a lot of development. That's why we haven't finished as many races as we'd like, but as I said to you the other day, that's what we have for. You know, we like not fiddling. We like developing our cars to see what we can do against the best that there is.
And you finalised on a spec of this car. It's where you now. We spoke briefly about your offer at the race. Tell us again. 10 cars, 10 teams you're looking for to run in a special class in SA Endurance Series, all run backdrafts.
Yeah, we're busy with building the cars at the moment. We're building 10 cars, and we're going to offer them to 10 teams that we think can handle the cars, and at no charge, and they must run the cars in the Endurance Series.
So if somebody, there's got to be some people in this room tonight who, if they wanted to run a car, get hold of you and say, these are my credentials, this is why we think that we're deserving, and they've got a little bit of budget to run it. These things are not super expensive to run because you've kept most of or as much as possible of the drivetrain standard.
Yeah, it's running a standard Lexus engine, which is sealed. It's running a BMW gearbox, which is sealed.
A diesel gearbox that can handle the torque?
It's a 2-litre diesel gearbox, and basically BMW suspension.
And Tony, have you, since the weekend, I know it's only halfway through the week, have you had you must have had a lot of interest?
There is a lot of interest. We basically oversubscribed, but we're going to be a little bit picky as to who we give the cars to.
That's a lovely position to be in, that you can choose proper teams, proper teams to deliver what I think will be really good, close, but I was going to say budget, not expensive racing.
Yeah, it's. I think it's very, very affordable and probably the cheapest way to go endurance racing. I must tell you a development which it hasn't been confirmed 100%, but Beppe Gabbiani, ex-Formula One driver, is bringing 6 young Italians out here at the end of November, and if they like the cars and they like our setup, it's quite possible that we'll have 3 international teams racing in the series next year.
I think it's absolutely brilliant. You're going to have to brush up on your Italian, Tony.
You're right.
Tony, I want to just thank you very much. You've put in a huge effort to come here. I think the series that you run, or the addition to the series with these backdraft cars, is absolutely, it is magical. And what you've done for motorsport, you're an inspiration to many, many people. To be as grey and not young as you are, and still have the spirit and the drive. Tony, thank you for everything you've done for motorsport.
Good, thanks a lot, and I must congratulate you guys on your 100th episode. I think it's fantastic. Please carry on and help us.
We will. Thanks a lot, Tony.
Thank you.
Guys, Tony Martin, an absolute legend and a gentleman. And Gary, Tony,
Okay, we'll catch up with him later.
we're going to come and have a beer with you now.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot. This is Tony Martin. Gary,
Yes.
it's gone on for a long enough time.
To all of those out there that have been watching and sending comments and that, we really, really appreciate it. Thanks for all the good wishes and everything else out there. I just want you
But
guys...
wait.
But wait.
Just one more thing. I got a phone call today.
You did?
I got a phone call, and basically the bottom line of it is, Fritz, have you got that red car? Show us the red car.
No.
Yes.
You're kidding me.
I am so privileged to Stradali Motorsport and Harry and Charles Ranges. You said if I was serious about your offer to drive that car, that red car, on the 9th of November, is to talk about it. Boom! Gary,
You're going to do it.
hold my beer. Okay, so now I'm a little bit worried. I'm now going to start getting fit, get lean and mean and all the rest of it.
9th of November.
9th of November. Swartkoff.
You got just under 3 and a little bit weeks.
Gary, Iron Man potential.
Piece of cake. To everybody out there that doesn't believe us about production, catering, I just want you guys to look at this wall. This wall will give you some idea of everybody that's behind us, and make sure you understand this big red and black lettering, because that is where the future is going to be. We will see you next week, Wednesday. Thank you very much for watching. I don't have to go and do anything.
Yeah, you do. You got to go and find beer.
And I'm talking about the normal thing I do.
So from the global headquarters of RaceDay.tv, this has been our 100th episode of WavedYellow. I want to thank everybody who's made the effort to come here tonight, and to all of you who've watched and supported us and sent us messages. Especially Greg Sharman, you've been a great inspiration to us. Thank you to all of you for your involvement. We'll be back next week for episode 101 of WavedYellow from the global headquarters that is now open. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.